Hey, welcome back, my network marketing friends. Todd Falcone here for another episode. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about how to get over the fear of prospecting and inviting in network marketing. This is a very prevalent fear that people have. They get started in a network marketing business, they sign up, they're obviously eager to make some kind of change in their life. That's why they joined, that's why they signed up. And I don't know if you've ever had this happen, but you can't communicate back to me here on video or audio, so you can think to yourself, have I ever had anybody that's joined my business that never did anything? And is it because they're lazy? Is it because what's the reason? I'm sure there are many reasons why somebody doesn't do something, but I would suggest to you that the primary reason that somebody doesn't act is because of fear. It's one of the reasons my entire brand is The Fearless Networker, why my book is Fearless Networking. Because people are wrought with fear. They are stuck in fear, and what you've got to be able to do if you're struggling with it is get over that fear. And if you have somebody on your team, or let me back up, when you have somebody on your team, because that's going to be actually way more accurate, when you have somebody on your team that is afraid to engage, they're afraid to move, they're stuck, you've got to help them get through that stuckness. They're stuck for a reason. Now, they may be stuck because they don't know what to do. So if they don't know what to do, they're not going to do it, right? Think about that for a second. If they're totally unclear as to what to do or how to do it, then they're not going to do it. Like if we look at the reasons, the core reasons people procrastinate, it's pretty simple. Either number one, low confidence relative to the task at hand. I'm not good at it, so therefore I'm not going to do it. Or B, they don't really like doing it. It doesn't seem joyful to them. It doesn't seem fun to them. So they're going to do everything they can to avoid that activity. Like if there's something that you don't like doing, you're going to put it off for as long as you possibly can because you don't like doing it. So we got to understand why people put stuff off. I'm not going to talk about the lazy thing. We can't fix lazy. I talked about that about 6 weeks ago in another episode. But if you're struggling right now and you're fearful with prospecting, okay, I can relate because I was there. When I started in the space 30 years ago, I was brand new, I was 22, I was afraid to talk to people, I was unsure of myself, I had never done network marketing before, I was handed this script, we practiced this script, which by the way, is a part of getting through the fear. Like if you don't know what to say, you're not going to go say anything. So are you clear? Let's say you're struggling. If I'm talking to you right now, if you're struggling with the fear of prospecting or inviting, and you're like, I'm afraid to do it because I just don't know what to say. Well, a great starting point would be to have some kind of basic script, basic semblance of an idea of a conversation to help you have that conversation. It's one of the reasons I created the little black book of scripts is to put the words in people's mouths so that they knew what to say in different situations and scenarios. By the way, I actually have that right here too, little black book of scripts. It's something that I've produced many years ago and is still one of my top selling training programs because it literally puts the words in your mouth to help you understand what to say. Because if you're like, I want to do this business, but what the heck do I say? You're not going to say it because you're not going to have confidence in saying something because you don't know what to say. Pretty simple, right? And you're probably going to be fearful about it because you're like, I don't want to screw up. I don't even know what to say. What if I blow it with my friend? What if I talk to this guy or this girl and they, totally blow me out? I don't want that to happen. Nobody wants to be rejected. Nobody wants to be cast aside, right? Nobody wants to hear the word no. The reality is, I don't care how good you are, you're going to have people that say no. You're going to have more people, in fact, that say no to you than say yes to you, even if you're highly skilled. But the starting point would be having some basic, simple script that you can follow to approach somebody and invite somebody. Hey, John, Todd Falcone, what's up? How's it going, brother? How you doing? Blah, da, 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 da. Cool, catching up. Listen, I've only got a couple minutes. I'm calling you for a specific reason. Listen, I just launched into a new business with Carla. We're super excited about it. I'd love to show you what we're up to. If I sent you a video, would you take 15 minutes and take a peek at that today? That's pretty simple approach. I'm not saying you use that exact approach, but that's a pretty simple approach. Something that any of you right now could get down pretty quickly. And the thing is, you want it to be conversational. You don't want to be calling and saying, hi, is John in, please? Hi, John. This is Todd Falcone. Carla and I are really excited. We found this thing. You don't want to sound like you're reading. It's got to be conversational. So you need to practice the approach, right? The other thing is, and this is for people that are totally stuck. Like if I'm talking to you and you're totally in a paralysis state, the best thing that you can do, like here's the thing, you can sit here and avoid it all day long, but that's never going to help you. At some point, you're going to have to replace that fear with enough courage to take the first step, okay? In spite of being fearful, in spite of not being comfortable, in spite of all the feelings that you might have and the sweaty palms and the dry mouth and the pounding heart and the nervousness that you feel and the butterflies that you feel in your stomach, in spite of all of that, you still are going to need to act. You can't, you could sit here and go, I'm just never going to move, but how is that going to serve you? You can get through the fear, okay? I was able to go from fearful, scaredy cat to death network marketer to being one of the top recruiters in every network marketing company I built because I was able to work through the fears. And I worked through the fears by having a script that gave me an approach, that gave me the words to say when I didn't know what to say, by practicing it and role-playing it over and over until it became conversational and it became comfortable for me. I continued I practiced it like crazy. I practiced it over and over and over and over and over again until I got comfortable with it. But at the same time, in the midst of me practicing it, I actually took action in spite of how I felt. I remember making the first few phone calls. I was so scared to death. I was frightened. My heart was pounding. I remember being on the phone with a prospect. Some of you guys have heard this story. My mouth got so dry while I was talking to the prospect that the guy stopped me mid-sentence. He's like, dude, can you do me a favor and take a drink of water? Because all I can hear is your mouth clicking and it's driving me crazy. And I'm sitting here, I felt so embarrassed. You know what happened? Like when your mouth gets all dry, it's like click, click, click. And all he could hear was like the clicking because my mouth was just like a desert. And so I grabbed a drink of water. And funny thing is, from that point forward, I always kept a big old giant jug of water with a straw in it so I could keep my mouth lubricated. So if I did get nervous, nothing wrong with it. Got nervous, took a sip of water, no big deal. Even on stage, like if your mouth gets dry, and I've seen people on the platform, and even to this day as a speaker, I speak professionally, I keep a bottle of water on a table up on the stage. So if my mouth happens to get dry, just take a sip, no big deal. Nobody's going to look at you funny because you took a drink of water or hey, hang on a second. Watch this. Oh, okay, hang on. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. In the middle of a training video, it's not a big deal. My mouth is lubricated. That's coffee, not water, but big deal, right? So practicing your approach. When you're totally stuck, for me, this is like if you're not moving at all, one of the best things that you do, and let's say you're stuck and you don't have anybody that's there to help you, which would be a good thing. But if you had nobody to help you, one thing you can do is you can make one call. Make one reach out. Just my job today is to do one. I'm gonna invite one person, not 52, one. And you invite the one person and you do it, right? One person, you can do one. And then when you get done with the call, no matter how good or how not good it went, you get done with the call, you hang up, or however you engage the person, text message, whatever, you touch yourself, you take a deep breath and you go, oh my gosh, I'm alive. I didn't die. How cool is that? I'm still here. And I may be kind of joking when I say that, but the reality is you're not going to die while prospecting. You might feel like it. And it might be very uncomfortable, the first call, the second call, the third call, but if you can do one, you can do two. If you can do two, you can do three. If you can do three, you can do four. If you can do four, you can do five. And I promise you, the more you expose yourself to the activity, the better you're going to get. I can sit here and give you example after example of all sorts of different activities. that if you were to do those activities, you did it one time again and again and again and again and again and again and again, it becomes more comfortable. So if you being successful, if what you ultimately want out here, wherever that is, whatever that thing is that you want is, if that vision for your future is big enough, you'll push yourself through the fear. If you're not clear as to where you ultimately want to go, you're going to be stuck in your fear. And it's not a fun place to be. So having a crystal clear vision as to what it is that you want and where you want to go, to me, is one of the most important things that you can do, because it's what pulls you through the fear. It's what pulls you out of it and forces you into action. If you can grab a buddy, that's the last thing I'm going to say in this episode is this: if you can grab a buddy or a partner, if you like, maybe it's your sponsor, maybe your sponsor makes calls with you, maybe you team up with somebody else who's scared, who's stuck, and you guys can make calls together, you can reach out together. If you can do it with somebody, it'll help you get moving. It's like squirting WD-40 on a rusty nut, right? You got a rusty nut that's not cutting itself loose. You're trying to get off. You put a little WD-40 on there. It works the nut loose until you can start tightening and loosening it a lot easier. Well, your friend can be your WD-40 for you, right? It's easier to do it with somebody than by doing it all alone. So getting through this whole fear of prospecting, being in a personal development mode, constantly working on yourself, constantly reading what you're doing right now, listening to me, watching me, plugging into training that's going to help you feel more comfortable, increasing your knowledge base, taking daily steps, doing it consistently in spite of how you feel. I wouldn't tell a brand new person who's scared to death, you need to go make 50 calls today. Just making 1, 2, or 3 calls for them could be enough to at least, okay, cool, I can do this. It wasn't really comfortable. I wasn't really good. And I'm telling you, the first several months that I was involved in network marketing, I was not good at all. I was very nervous. I was very scared. But what I wanted was that residual income. I wanted the result. And I wanted the result bad enough. And I saw that it was happening for other people. And I was like, I want what they have. And because I wanted it so badly, I was willing to push the fear aside long enough to just get done whatever I needed to get done. And the thing is, over time, like now, even on stage, I used to be scared to death to get on stage. Like, I'm a speaker, I'm a professional speaker. It's what I do today. And as a speaker, back in the first time I got on stage, I was scared to death. But the only way I was going to get good at speaking is I was going to have to get on the stage. Facebook Lives. If you're nervous to do a Facebook Live, well, how are you going to get good at doing a Facebook Live? If you never do a Facebook Live, do a Facebook Live. Maybe it wasn't great. Big deal. Do another one. Do another one, do another one, do another one. But if you don't consistently put yourself into that activity at least a little bit, then you're never going to get through the fear. I wish I would be wealthy beyond imagination if I could just throw you a pill, you could swallow the pill, and bam, you are super confident. I have the confidence pill. There's no pill of confidence. You've got to work on it. You've got to practice it. You've got to do it in spite of how you feel. You've got to maybe grab a buddy, grab a partner, grab a friend, role play, do whatever you've got to do. But these are some things that will help you to get through the fear. And I understand fear clearly. Again, my brand is the Fearless Networker. It's not that I don't have fear. I've got fears. But I'm willing to push away the fear just long enough, because the thing that I want is on the other side of the fear. What you want is just on the other side of the fear. And if you're clear with what you want, you're going to do it. Okay? That is how you get it done. If you want to get the rest of this episode, if you're on podcast, listening to me on audio, if you're on YouTube, you definitely want to head over to toddfalcone.com/episode 55. toddfalcone.com/episode 55. We'll see you guys on another episode. Thanks for plugging in.